Your message is important to us. Please hold. Your message is important to us. Please hold. Your message is important to us. Please hold.
Looking for great value home insurance? Don't go online for an anonymous corporation who takes your money and abandons you. Choose High House, your local insurance company. High House Insurance don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. For a free, no-obligation quote, call 606 552. High House Insurance, local, reliable insurance. High Street, Chelsea.
Hi, and welcome once again to Manhood Internet Radio's podcast. My name's Keith Barnes, and in this week's show, Alison will be having a look at what's going on around Bracklesham and the Witterings and also around Selsey, and she'll be giving us the benefit of her wisdom with regards to the weather and the tide times. I should be talking to Clive Cockayne about the new lifeboat house, and in there, of course, there's a mention about how the police have opposed a drinks licence for it. And finally, we'll be hearing a story from Theofoot called Sweet Dreams. So, ever onwards and upwards, Alison.
Hello there, welcome once again to our weekly look at what's happening in Selsey. So first of all, on Thursday the 27th of April, it will be the Selsey Bridge Club. They meet at Cox's Road. They're a friendly group of mixed ability, they say. If you want some more information on that one, you need to call Carol on 602250. So that's the Selsey Bridge Club, which meets from 2 until 5. We've also got on the day walking football at the Academy. That's in the evening from 6 o'clock until 7:30. That's a gentle game of football to keep you in shape. That is if you're over 50. So do come and join the walking football group at the Academy from 6 until 7:30. Then down at East Beach, there's the Lighthouse Youth Club for school years 5 to 8. They start at 6:30 and finish at 7:45. And later in the evening, there's adult kickboxing at the Selsey Centre on Manor Road from 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock. Also at the Selsey Centre, at 7:15, it's time for the monthly Manhood Trefoil Guild held at the Selsey Centre. So plenty going on during Thursday. Now Friday morning, that's the 28th, the Seal Island Swimming Club will meet, not in the sea, but at the Oasis Pool at Bunleisure. They start at 9:30 and finish at 10:30. In the afternoon on Friday, it'll be time for the weekly Darby and Joan Club. They meet for a game of bingo with a raffle and a cup of tea and a chat. They also have subsidised days out occasionally, and they also go shopping, so expect they have a lovely time. There is transport to the hall, which is supplied by the Venture Bus, if you're a member of that, and they are part of the RVS. For more information on the Darby and Joan Club, you need to contact Jill Evenden on 604 187. Also in the afternoon, Bridge for Beginners will meet at the Selsey Club on Cox's Road. That's from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock. And if music is more for you, then there's mindful music making at the shop on the High Street. That's from 2 o'clock until 3:30. Now also on Friday is the monthly U3A meeting down at the Selsey Centre. They start at 2:30 and they finish at 4:30. And this week, the speaker is Douglas Hooley. He's going to be talking about RAF Tangmere and the Special Operations Executive. So that sounds very interesting. If you want a little bit more information about U3A, then do telephone Sue on 658 331. And later in the afternoon, there's Bright Sparks Club between 5 and 6. That's for school years 1 to 4. Again, that one's at East Beach Church. Now, lots of things happening on Saturday. First of all, down at the RSPB at Pagham, there's an artist's wildlife painting workshop. This is an all-day workshop giving an introduction to the basic techniques of watercolour painting, combining a little bit of theory with lots of practical application and advice. Now, although the subjects will be wildlife-based, the principles that they're teaching can be applied in a wider context if you want to extend your interests. The session is aimed at beginners and also those returning to an old hobby. Good quality paints and brushes will be supplied. All you need to do is bring yourself and your enthusiasm. Now, booking is essential. It's £20 per head or £16 if you're an RSPB member. To book that, you need to phone them on 641 508 or you can do it online, pagham.harbour at rspb.org.uk. So that's the Artists Wildlife Painting Workshop, beginning at 9:30 and finishing at 4:30. Doesn't say whether you need your sandwiches, but you need to be prepared, I think. The Art Stream at Selsey are also having a painting workshop, so it's obviously the day for painting on Saturday. This one is being run by Sue Holloway. It's Still Life in Mixed Media. That's being held at St Wilfrid's Church Hall on Church Road. The cost for that is also £20, but this class is limited in number to 16, so you need to book for that one with Angela Benwell on 603332. So the Art Stream Painting Day starts at 10 and finishes at 5:30. It's also the day for the beginning of the Chichester Art Trail 2017. That's a 2-week art trail round and about the area. But we have art on our own doorstep here. The White House, 37 High Street, Selsey. That will be open on Saturday. Also another one at 27 Constable Drive in Selsey. Sea Holly at 7 the Bridgeway, Selsey. Briars, again on the Bridgeway at Selsey. And 1 Donaldson Close, Selsey. They're all open from 10:30 until 5:30. For more information, you do need to see the Chichester Art Trail brochure. That will cover ourselves, of course, and other places on the peninsula. Then in the evening, there's an opera performance at the Selsey Town Hall. This is part of the Selsey Festival, which is supported, of course, by Art Stream. And this promises to be an evening of exceptional singing by a team of professionals. They're doing all the good bits, all the bits that you know, rather than the boring bits that you don't know. So it should be a delight for everyone. Tickets are available from Selsey Town Hall, or again, you can book online. www.ticketsource.co.uk/Selsey Festival. Not on the door, it says, so you have been warned. So the opera performance at the Town Hall begins at 7:30 and will be finished by 9:30, so definitely no boring bits there. Of course, it's Saturday, so we have the usual 2 sales. The Venture Bus sale starts at 8:30 and finishes round about 12. The Scouts have their own sale on School Lane from 10 until 12. On Sunday, the 30th of April, the RNLI are having their sponsored walk at the new lifeboat station, Kingsway. If you want a bit more detail about that, you need to speak to Elaine Burge. Her number is 07946 176 480. She can give you some more information about the sponsored walk. I'll just give you her number again. 07946 176 480, and the walk will take place between 8 and 10. If you don't want to do a sponsored walk, but you'd like a guided walk, then you can discover the west side of Pagham Harbour. As usual, this one will start from the visitor centre with the RSPB, and the guides will take us on a gentle spring walk along the west side of the harbour. It's a 3-mile walk, combining wildlife and the harbour's historic past, while the change of season should see the arrival of warblers, nightingales, cuckoos, so there should be plenty to see there. Booking is essential for this one. 641508 is the number. Cost for that £7 per head, or if you're an RSPB member, that reduces down to £4. So the guided walk from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock. Also on Sunday, it's the regular meeting of the Selsey Model Boat Club people. They start at 10 and finish at 12. They meet at the pond on East Beach, weather permitting. They sail their radio-controlled boats there. New members are always welcome. You need to contact Chris on 801 550. The Chichester Art Trail, of course, continues the same as it was on Saturday. This is 10:30 until 5:30. The White House in the High Street, 27 Constable Drive, 7 the Bridgeway, and 1 Donaldson Close. So you need to get a leaflet to help you round the Chichester Art Trail. Then, would you believe, on Monday, it's yet another bank holiday. Monday, the 1st of May, May Day, and we're back with the regular car boot sales in aid of the Selsey carers. Cars are £6, car plus a trailer will be £10 and vans will be £12. Now, weather permitting, that will be held on the recreation ground from 7:30 until 1 o'clock. Don't forget the art trail again, the White House, 27 Constable Drive, 7 the Bridgeway, Briars the Bridgeway and 1 Donaldson Close, as before, 10:30 until 5:30. And then on Tuesday the 2nd of May, the Selsey Shuttle, the community bus, will be having a new timetable. You can get information about that from the Information Exchange on the High Street. It will include new drop-offs at the new Asda store. So, all being well, that should help you do your shopping at the new Asda when that opens, if you're interested. So that's a new timetable for the Selsey Shuttle. There's the mobile soft play session for the under 5s at the Selsey Centre. That starts at 10 and finishes at 11:30. We've also got the Writers' Club, meeting at 2:30 until 4:30 at the Selsey Club, Cox's Road. Information on that can be found with Pat Reed on 601 550. And in the evening on Tuesday, netball for all between 7 and 8. That's held at the Academy Sports Hall.
Well, lots going on there, Alison. And I look forward to hearing from you a little bit later on when we visit Bracklesham and the Witterings and you update us with your wisdom on the weather and the tide times. Right, with me now I've got Clive Cockayne, and Clive's been heavily involved. I mean, he does have a job as well, but he's been heavily involved in the building of the new lifeboat station. And he's sitting here looking a very tired man in front of me at the moment. And Clive's going to give us an update on how things are going and what's going to happen down at the new station. Good morning, Clive.
Good morning.
Now, it must have been quite telling for you over the past 18 months or so.
It's been an interesting journey. It goes back to November 2011 when we have what they call the Coast Review. And the Coast Review come to check that the facilities that the RNLI have given us are the correct facilities for our location, with showed ground and shallow water and that sort of thing. So it was way back then that was confirmed in April 2012 when they told us that we were going to be given the new Shannon class lifeboat. So we've really had a 5-year lead in with acquiring the land, approving the plans, and then the last 15 months of construction. And as you know, we've still got the demolition of the offshore station to go. And we're moved in, but we're only just moved in. So there's a little way to go yet.
So the people that made the decision to build a new lifeboat house, they're the people actually that the local people should be aiming their rocks and arrows at.
Very much so, yes.
Because you obviously are aware that everybody thinks it's a bad idea. Why can't we keep the old boathouse? It's got to move on, of course it has, and the RNLI, I'm sure, would not go spending the kind of money they've needed to spend if they deemed it unnecessary.
You're absolutely right. I mean, as a matter of interest as far as the listeners are concerned, the Coast Review Committee, which called at Selsey only a month ago, is headed by Sir Timothy Lawrence, Princess Anne's husband, who now, having retired from the Navy, is heading up the board that actually looks at whether those facilities are right. They didn't want to take away the station as far as the slipway station is concerned, but logistically, having replaced Bembridge and Shoreham, the distance between Bembridge and Shoreham is some 34 miles. That warrants and constitutes another all-weather lifeboat as far as the RNLI are concerned, thus our allocation of the Shannon. And it's obvious to most people that it is prohibitively expensive not only to build but to maintain offshore slipway stations. There will only be, at the end of 2017, 11 slipway stations in the whole of the RNLI's fleet of 238 lifeboat stations. So you can see how much they've pared it down in order to be seen that these voluntary contributions, which are now amounting to substantial funds of 190 million a year, are being spent in the most sensible and profitable way. And that's where it comes from. The offshore station is singly unsuitable for anything. I have a lease on it until 2112. It's owned by the Crown Estate, so by Her Majesty the Queen, and obviously we are obliged that when we finish with the usage of it, we have to put her seabed back to how it was in the first place.
Yes, I understand, and I understand that's not going to be so easy.
No, it won't be.
Now, there's been lots of guessing about when it's actually going to come down, the old station. Have you got a date in mind? Or?
Yeah, we've just been given a date. It's May the 2nd. It's slipped back a little bit. There's been a little bit of renegotiation with the subcontractors who had agreed to do the demolition. But May the 2nd is now the new start date.
And I would imagine that the destruction of the old lifeboat house is probably going to be the most filmed thing in the UK at that time.
We have actually very kindly been loaned by a local camera shop these delay cameras, time-lapse cameras, I think they officially call them. And so we've arranged with somebody who lives along the Kingsway to have one in their sitting room, and also from some other people who live at the end of James Street to have one fixed on their balcony.
Oh,
so we've got a sort of east and a west aspect of a time-lapse camera that will take a photograph probably every 10 minutes and may end up with a half an hour, well, it won't be a video nowadays, it'll be a CD, won't it? But a half hour CD just showing a short film of how the demolition took place. So it should be quite interesting.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Well, sadly, we were on holiday when the last launch was planned, so we didn't see that, but I did see it on Facebook, as I knew it would be. So you're never really likely to miss it totally, because it'll be plastered all over Facebook.
I think we've covered most social media with it, and we were very pleasantly surprised by the sheer volume of people that turned out to witness it. We were very disappointed to have lost the opportunity to give a free firework display as a thank you, but weather didn't allow us that, unfortunately. But it was lovely to see so many of the village actually attending the final launch.
Yes, I'm just hoping that some of the sort of romanticism doesn't go out of it, because you get a great turnout in Lifeboat Week, functions that are going on and stuff like that, and obviously you raise a lot of money from that. I'm just hoping that people don't think, oh well, it's not the same now, and don't go. You know.
No, I would agree with you that it isn't the same now, but it's certainly. I don't think lifeboating as such will ever lose its romanticism. It's either close to people's hearts or it's not. I think Selsey as still, to me, although it's a town, it's still very much a village, and I think quite rightly the villagers look upon it as being their lifeboat. It's important to them. Yes, it's a completely different concept, but it's probably equally as exciting, if not more so, than that brief 30 seconds of hitting the pin and the boat hitting the water. It's a quite amazing piece of kit that they're going to be providing us with, that's taken a long time in its development, and as I say, is a completely different concept of lifeboating, but equally as exciting, equally as emotive, and I think it will still retain the romanticism that goes with it.
Yes, I mean, for me, the thin end of the wedge was when they stopped setting off the maroon. That was it, at the end of the lifeboat, as far as I was concerned. Or the end of the lifeboat was part of the village, because everybody in the village knew that the lifeboat was going out, and now they don't. You know, they know 2 or 3 days later, perhaps, that it's gone out, or they can see on Facebook that it's out. It's a shame, but things have got to move on. The one question that sort of springs to mind for me is, it's a quick launch. I mean, some of the lifeboat crew are quite portly, somewhat like myself. They managed to run across that gantry pretty quickly, onto the boat and down the slip and away. And it seems to me that the new boat is going to be a much slower launch.
No, it will be equally as quick, probably in fact quicker.
Will it really?
Yes, the Super Cat and the carriage are such that you will find that we've been practicing with it this last week, and the speed with which we can descend the shingle and have the boat in the water will probably cut a couple of minutes off our launch time from when we used to muster in the offshore station and go down the slipway.
Oh, right. That's a couple of precious minutes.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
And just referring back to your point about the Maroons, I think all of us felt very sad when they went, but it was quite fitting that we'd held a couple back and we let them off on the day of the final launch. And when I walked along the sea wall, there were so many of the locals that were saying, gosh, that was really good to hear the two Maroons go off. And we actually let them off 6 minutes before we hit the water. So at 6 minutes to 11, in order that people, and some people actually did hear them from their gardens and came down thinking, oh, I remember it's the last launch.
Yeah.
So it did what it used to do when we were all younger in the village and used to either rush down to the seafront, get on our bikes or whatever it might be. So it was quite an emotive occasion to have the two Maroons.
Yes, I can imagine. When I found out that the lifeboat station was going, it was a couple of years back or whatever it was, and the wife and I were up in the gantry one day, and I said, I'm going to pop home and get a spanner. She said, what for? I said, I'm going to take that Maroon launcher off there and keep that as a keepsake. It's still there, I trust, because I never did get round to doing it.
It is still there.
Right.
It is.
But yeah, it was, I don't know why, but the Maroon was the thing for me. And we have to move on, obviously. The most important thing, of course, is that the crew are happy with it.
They are. Yeah, I think they're coming to terms with their new facility. They're all very keen as far as the delivery of the boat is concerned, which incidentally, again, your listeners might be interested to know that it will be arriving on Saturday the 24th of June. And obviously that's another occasion when it would be nice to see as many people down there as possible. The new and the old will still be there because the tine's on the mooring. But yeah, the crew are very much embracing quite a big learning curve.
Yes,
which they're looking forward to, and are taking substantial amounts of time off from their working and paying jobs to do this voluntarily. But yes, big change, but it's going to be a very good change.
Now the new boathouse, I noticed the other day, have applied for a licence for alcohol. Is that going to become some sort of venue? Or?
No, not really. It's something that the RNLI encourage, that when you have a new facility such as that, and the licence has only been applied for a maximum of 5 events a year.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically the opportunity to utilise the facility that they've built for us as an additional bow to our fundraising capabilities. So it would mean that if you wanted to put on a station barbecue and sell tickets, you could then have soft drinks or a glass of wine, and it's very limited from that point of view. I'm not sure whether we'll be successful in that application. I understand that it has been objected to by the local police, so we'll wait and see. But it's just something that, we're not going to be every week having a knees up and lots of people drinking lots of alcohol. It's specifically for events that we may or may not do during the course of the year.
Okay. I wondered perhaps if we were moving towards a wedding venue at the lifeboat house.
Yes.
That would have its possibilities, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, Clive, and having a chat to us and just updating us. I know you've been a very, very busy man over the past 18 months or more, and you must be looking forward to the completion, as it were, when you can just get back to doing your day job and your bit for the RNLI that you used to do before.
Yeah, the 22nd of September is the target time for me. On the 21st of September is the naming ceremony. So once that's out of the way, we will be, I don't mean it out of the way as such, but once that's complete, we will be back to normal and operating a fully fledged operational lifeboat station from the 22nd of September onwards. But it's always a pleasure to come in and chat.
Well done, that man, and thank you for coming in and giving us some of your time.
Thanks for the invite.
I'm sure we'll be talking to you again in the not too distant future to see if you're fully rested.
Thank you.
Or maybe at the end of the year when you've had a chance to become fully rested. Thanks once again, Clive.
No, not at all. Thanks very much.
And we go back to Alison now, and Alison's going to be telling us what's going on in Bracklesham and the Witterings.
Over now to Witterings and Bracklesham to find out what's happening there this week. So on Thursday we've got Stitch and Yarn at Witterings Medical Centre starting at 10:30 and finishing at 12:30. Then of course at East Wittering Library it's Knit and Natter between 11 and 12:30. It's also the day for the Master Art Group at Witterings between 10 and 12 held at the West Wittering Memorial Hall. And then in the afternoon there's a Keep Fit exercise class at East Wittering Village Hall from 2 until 3. 2 sessions of the West Wittering short mat bowls are held on Thursdays 10 until 12 and another session in the afternoon 2 until 4. That's at West Wittering Memorial Hall. Information on that one from Chris on 07788 111 325. That's Chris with short mat bowls 07788 111325. Early evening on a Thursday, there's a mixed ability Pilates group from 6 until 7 at East Wittering Village Hall. And then, of course, there is the private ballroom and Latin class. That begins at 7 at East Wittering Village Hall. But for this one, you do need to book in advance. www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. At the Youth Centre, there's the Junior Youth Club for 8 to 12-year-olds. That starts at 5 and finishes at 6:30, followed, of course, by the Seniors, 6:30 till 8:30. That's for 12 to 17-year-olds. Both of those events are held at the Youth Centre. In the evening, there's bingo at the British Legion at 7:30, and it's open mic night at Pond Barn beginning at 8. Regular events on Fridays, we've got Pilates at Bracklesham Barn starting at 9:30, finishing at 10:30. And then in the afternoon, there's short mat bowls at Bracklesham Barn between 2 and 4. We've got Coastliners line dancing between 2 and 5 at East Wittering Village Hall. And it's the UK Film Academy at Bracklesham Barn between 5 and 9. There's jukebox night at Pond Barn starting at 7 and closing at midnight. And again the private ballroom and Latin class starting at 7 at East Wittering Village Hall. Don't forget the booking address www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. Every Sunday at Bracklesham Barn at 10:30 it's the Windrush Church meeting. They finish by 12:45. And later in the evening, 7:30 until 9, it's the Modern Jive Dancing Group at East Wittering Village Hall. And then, of course, it is quiz night at Pond Barn. That begins at 8 o'clock. Monday morning, the Little Ducklings Mother and Toddler Group have their regular meeting over at Bracklesham Barn, 9:30 until 11:30. And also at the barn, 10:30 until 1, it's short mat bowls. In the evening at the barn, Louise takes a Zumba class, that's from 6:30 until 7:30. And then at East Wittering Village Hall in the evening, there's line dancing beginning at 7 and finishing at 10. In the evening at Bracklesham Barn, Elaine does a yoga class between 7 and 8:30. And also Verity does her ARO Ladies Beginner Kickboxing at Bracklesham Barn. She starts at 7:30 and finishes at 8:30. On Tuesday mornings at Bracklesham Barn, the Little Explorers Play and Learn Together have their regular session. That starts at 10 and closes at 11:30. There's also Elaine's yoga group at Bracklesham Barn, one session at 9:30 and a second one at 10:45. In the afternoon at Bracklesham Barn, there's Strength and Balance, 2 sessions there, 2 till 3 and 3 until 4. Then a little bit later in the afternoon after school, we've got the Up for Dance Boys Junior Dance Group at Bracklesham Barn, 3:30 until 4:30, followed by the Up for Dance Mishmash, that's for all juniors at Bracklesham Barn, between 4:30 and 5:30. There's also Tai Chi between 4 and 5, and the Beginner Ukulele Club meet on a Tuesday at Bracklesham Barn between 6:30 and 8:30. It's also the day for the Community Pop Choir, West Wittering Memorial Hall, 7 till 9, and at Bracklesham Barn there's badminton between 7:30 and 9:30. And don't forget the free pool at Pond Barn, which is a regular Tuesday event. Couple of things for the week. Wednesday the 26th, we've got a ukulele jam at Bracklesham Barn between 7 and 10. And then on Thursday the 27th, we've got the Thursday group lunch. You need to speak to Helen on 672174 or Marjorie on 672696. I'm sorry to say that my information doesn't tell me where that's held. My guess is at Bracklesham Barn, but it may not be, so do call Helen or Marjorie for a few more details and a venue for that one. On Saturday the 29th of April, it's time for the craft market at East Wittering Village Hall, starting at 10:30 and finishing at 3:30. So lots of things going on during the week at the Witterings and Bracklesham. And this week it's also the day for the regular mobile tip. So I need to tell you about that. At Wittering's Marine Drive car park, Thursday the 27th from 8:15 until 3 in the afternoon. Now don't get caught out about what they will and will not take. So it's green garden waste, wood, metal items, any pots and pans, anything like that. They take cardboard, paper and shredded paper. They take small electrical items, irons and toasters and hair dryers and things, but they do not take televisions or white goods. Non-recyclable material may be placed in the bins, but they do not accept soil, hardcore or hazardous materials. So you have been warned and you may well be turned away if you bring the wrong things. However, that's the 27th of April at the Witterings Marine Drive car park. So, hope you find plenty to do there. Bye for now.
Right, now it's Tracy's turn. She's been sat there ever so patiently, ever so quietly, for about an hour and a half. And she's got a little snippet of news about something that's coming up, an event that's going to be happening. Morning, Tracy.
Hello there. It's just very quickly, on Sunday the 21st of May, the East Wittering and Bracklesham Local Business Alliance are holding a May celebration. As part of that, there will be a car boot sale held in Caken Road. So we're closing the road.
I like car boot sales.
We've got space for 25 cars. They are going quite quickly, but we do have a couple of spaces left. So if anybody wants to have a space with their car at the car boot, it's £10 payable in advance, and pop into the BizCard shop, pay you £10 and we can put you on the list. As part of the celebration, there will be a children's fun fair, and our very own Bobby Barnes is coming along to give us some great entertainment.
Oh, he's good. You should listen to him.
He's amazing. Good. So please, if you've got some junk that you need to get rid of, then give us a call on the local life number or call into BizCards and book the slot for your car boot. Thank you very much.
Well, that was short and sharp and to the point, wasn't it? Well done, Tracy. Now, it appears last week I reread the quiz that we'd put out several weeks before. But just in case you didn't get the answers to it at that time, I'll give you the answers again. Kevin asked us who wrote the books about the Wizard of Oz, and that was Frank Baum. Which family did Paddington Bear live with? That was the Browns. Who led the mutiny on the Bounty? That was Fletcher Christian. Where did Bournemouth FC play their home games? That's at Dean Court. And what part did Gillian Talforth play in EastEnders? And that was, of course, Cathy Beale. And the connection is Selsey councillors. That's Glenda Baum, Andy Brown, John Fletcher, Christine and Mike Beale. So, sorry for the repeat, and we'll try and get it right this week. And here we have this week's quiz. And Kevin asks, what do you call a tradesman who makes barrels? Question number 2, which English Test cricket fast bowler of the 1950s was nicknamed Typhoon? What is the stage name of singer Peter Jean Hernandez, born in Hawaii in 1985? What was the name of Morse's sergeant, played by Kevin Whatley on TV? And which US sitcom featured Kelsey Grammer in the title role? So, get your thinking caps on, get your head round them. And we go back across to Alison now for a look at the weather. Alison.
Time now to have a look at the weather on the peninsula. Wednesday the 26th, we're promised a high of 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, with sunny intervals, an 11 mile an hour north-northeasterly wind. On Thursday the 27th of April, we should have a high of 11 degrees Celsius or 52 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud cover, 9 mile an hour northwesterly wind. Temperature creeping up on Friday the 28th with a high of 12 degrees Celsius or 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, light cloud cover, 11 mile an hour northerly wind, so I suppose that will feel a little bit colder than the 12 degrees that we're promised. On Saturday the 29th, temperatures a little bit lower, 11 degrees Celsius, 52 degrees Fahrenheit, but with some sunny intervals. 13 mile an hour wind speed, but that will be an easterly, so you have been warned. Saturday the 30th, 12 degrees Celsius, 54 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny intervals, 15 mile an hour easterly wind. Now, don't get too excited, but Monday the 1st, which is Bank Holiday Monday, I'm promised a high of 15 degrees Celsius, so the temperature's creeping up. 59 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud cover, 15 mile an hour southerly wind. And on Tuesday the 2nd of May, we should have a high of 16 degrees Celsius or 61 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud cover, 12 mile an hour wind west-southwest. So that's it for now. Hope you find plenty to do over the bank holiday weekend, and I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.
And finally we hear from Thea now, and Thea's going to be reading us a story called Sweet Dreams.
Sweet dreams. I always wanted to live in the country. Memories of childhood holidays on the farm had left me with a fondness for the rural life. However, fate decreed that I should earn my living in the heart of town. One searingly hot night in the midst of a summer heat wave, in spite of leaving the windows wide open to catch the slightest breeze, it was hot and clammy in the sauna-like confines of our bed. Longing for the cooler atmosphere of the countryside, I let my imagination carry me away to green fields. I imagined dipping my toes into a soft, rippling stream as it flowed gently over the pebbles, lifting my face to catch the breeze as it rustled in the leaves of the tree. I could almost smell the grass and hear the cows lowing, the chickens pecking at the ground. I began to drift gently off to sleep. The silence of our bedroom was shattered by the loud crowing of a cockerel. Now, I've always had a vivid imagination, but this was real. The farmyard was here, in our room. I switched on the light and frantically shook my husband. "There's a cock in the room! Get him out of here!" The poor man grunted, and then as he became aware of the continual crowing from across the room, he leapt stark naked from the bed, highlighted in all his glory against the curtainless open window. "Oh, switch it off! Switch it off!" He groped desperately around for something to cover himself with. "Oh, never mind that! It's in the linen basket! Get it out!" I shrieked at him. By now he managed to grab hold of my discarded nightie, and holding that in one hand to preserve his modesty, he made his way gingerly over to the basket in the corner. He carefully lifted the lid. In spite of the crowing, no feathered creature flew out, and apart from my husband, all that was exposed was yesterday's cast-offs. Suddenly he leant forward, and he pulled out his jeans. Then with a flourish, he proceeded to extract something from the back pocket. Lying in the palm of his hand was a large watch, from which the loud crowing of a cockerel emanated. Trying to pacify me, he explained that the watch was given to him by a partially sighted friend who always wore a talking watch, featuring an alarm. Being a bit of an eccentric, he chose the sound of a crowing cockerel over sweet music for the wake-up call. But why us? Why do we need a flaming cockerel to wake us in the middle of the night? I asked, not unnaturally. It seemed that the verbal part of the watch no longer worked, so a new one was purchased, and this one was donated to my hubby. The mystery is why it suddenly decided to work that night. I was just happy in the knowledge that I could sleep safely in my bed without the fear of waking to find myself on old MacDonald's farm. Oh, and yes, that watch went back into the jeans pocket for a good turn in the boil wash. I had to make sure that the cockerel was dead.
Well, thank you for that, Thea. And that brings us to the end of this week's show. It just leaves it for me to say thank you to the team, to John Mullett, our sound engineer, to John Fletcher, our producer, to Tracy, and to Alison, and to our guests, Thea Foote and Clive Cockayne. And from me, Keith Barnes, I'd just like to say thanks for joining us, and join us again next week. Bye for now.